guys, Dr. Dex here. Today we are going to talk about joist tape. And in particular, we're talking about a joist tape put out by a company called TimberTech. And the name of the tape is called ProTac. Hey man, if you move, walk, or run, you should definitely click the subscribe button because it's going to help you in your everyday adventure, okay? All right. So look, joist tape is a hot commodity right now. It's a hot topic. I've heard the gamut, the spectrum. There's nothing you can tell me that I haven't heard about joist tape. I use other brands as well. So this tape in particular, I'm going to go over a few purposes for it, but also let you know why I would use it, my number one reason for using this particular brand. First off, joist tape is used mostly to protect framing. So mostly what it's used for is for the tops of your joists. All right, the top of your deck joist. Now this is a double, but for all intensive purposes, let's just imagine a single. So let's build a deck without joist tape, and then let's build another deck with joist tape, and let's compare them in 5 years. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, you have a lot of pine trees and pine needles and things like that. Every time it rains, or if pine needles are coming down, or whatever is coming through the decking, right? It all sits and nests and festers right in that deck board crack. It gets clogged, and then eventually it's going to start to decay and rot. Even pressure-treated lumber. I've seen pressure-treated lumber fail in 6 to 7 years in the wrong environment without protection. So why I'm advocating this is strictly a longevity thing. If you're only going to build your deck and you're only going to be in that house for 5 years, all right, man, sayonara, skip this step, check the next video. But if you're interested in your deck lasting longer, this video is for you. So TimberTech makes ProTac in 4 different widths. There's 1.625 inches, there's 2.5 inches, there's 4 inches, and there's 12 inches. So that gives you a wide variety of widths to use. One good thing you can do with this product is use it behind your ledger boards when you're attaching to a house. That's where the 12-inch would come into play. This is a rubber butyl tape, so it's super sticky. It sticks to itself, so you got to be careful. That's why they put these protective membranes or this protective plastic layer in between the products so it doesn't stick to the table, it doesn't stick to itself. This stuff will stick to itself, and it's very hard to remove once it's stuck, okay? So basically, we're going to start with the 1.625 roll, all right? This is going to be your standard joist tape that you would cover 1.5 inches with, okay? So here we go. Again, this stuff's pretty sticky. What I do like about this tape, it has a really nice peel and release. There's other tapes on the market that aren't so easily removed. So let's just say we're covering one joist only. You just stick it on like that. Okay, this stuff you can't, it's not self-tearing, so you gotta have a knife with you. Cut that off. Let's smooth it out. It's a thicker tape, so if thickness is an issue, you might want to consider that when you're building so that you give yourself an extra 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch or whatever you need, depending on how many layers of this you're gonna use. So now the top of this joist is protected. This is the first place that your deck's gonna rot. Is right on top of the joist, right in between the deck boards. Here's your deck boards, here's the gap. That's your first place of intrusion. And another cool feature about this tape, it's self-sealing. So when you put a screw through this, it seals the screw hole so the water won't permeate or penetrate into your framing, okay? Now, rubber butyl sticks pretty well, especially to dry lumber. So when you go to peel this back, if you made a mistake, you can do it, but it takes a minute. Okay, you can see that it's grabbing the framing already. Okay? So, one thing that's difficult about butyl, let's say you make an accident, something happens, the wind's blowing, and you touch it like that, odds are you're tossing that piece because you're not going to be able to peel it away. That time I think we did because we got a little bit of a layer of pressure-treated lumber. By the way, caution advisory or information, This lumber is called pressure-treated hemlock. Pressure-treated hemlock. It has incisions in it, okay? That's to force the pressure treatment deeper into the wood because it doesn't absorb very well. If you look at the end grain of this board, you can see from the incisions, it allows a deeper penetration into the board, but this is untreated. That's why we use a lot of end grain solution in our builds because of this exposed edge. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm gonna take a brand new piece of this tape. It's already sticking to the table. Cut it, I'm gonna peel it just to make my example. And it's brand new, so I'm gonna stick it. Okay, it's not coming apart. It's kind of bittersweet. It's good that it does that, but it'll cost you a few bucks because eventually this is going to happen to you and you're like, oh no, and it's too late. Trust me, I've cursed the wind more than twice. All right, that piece is done. Let's say you have a double joist and you just want to cover them both. Well, there's a 2.5 inch roll, but this is 3 inches. So if you want it clean and you still are exposing the ends, you could use a 2.5, but I'm going to use the 4. 4 inch roll will work good for this. Okay. This stuff tucks really nice. You can tuck your ends, fold them over. Now what you've done is you've protected the tops of your joists, plus you've protected the seam where the water is going to get in. This is the biggest failure point of all time on a deck, is where somebody sandwiches 2 boards together and they don't protect the top of this. Water goes right in there and eventually it rots. 10 years, you're toast. Another thing I like about the 4 inch, when you're doing a 3 inch board, it gives you a 1/2 inch overlap. So it folds over really nice and sticks really nice to the material, okay? So that's your narrower widths, 1.6, your 2.5, and your 4. Okay, and when I build a lot. I'm doing a lot of flat blocking because I'm doing all these crazy curves and different things. And we have a lot of flat blocking. If you don't protect a flat block, it's gonna rot, okay? Because you have a surface border, field boards coming into here, and then you have gaps. Well, anywhere there's a gap, that's where water's going in, and that's what's gonna intrude onto your lumber. So that's what's cool about the 12 inch. It's gonna cover up to a 2x12 lickety splits. So 12 inch is really good for back of ledger boards on the house and flat blocking. Okay, now when you get into wider widths of tape, I advise only peeling back a couple inches. Okay, and getting your tack down first before you go gunga din with peeling away your tape, because it's gonna stick. And if you peel away too much of the tape, you might regret it. So it's good just to kind of get a initial bond to your timber, okay? And then you can roll out as much as you need and then peel away your protective coating, like so. And then smooth it out. I've heard of people using rollers on this stuff. We usually smooth it out with our hands, but sometimes if we need it super duper flat, we'll use a roller. Just keep going until you get to the end. And then if you want to do an overlap, I usually cut 1 inch or so past. Overlap the corners, the edges like that. Then you can even tuck your corners by going in and making a back cut here and one here. And then you can wrap that around the corner like that and then fold that over. There you go. Now you're world champion. Okay, so now you've protected your flat block, so no moisture is going to permeate and rot this away. So now you can put your screws wherever you like. Okay, one other thing I like about this product, there's no writing on it. So you're not going to see white letters through your deck boards. I've had a client actually have me pole decking and erase the white lettering because it drove him crazy. Okay guys, so here's my #1 reason for using a rubber butyl tape. This is an EPDM pond liner. It's stretchy, and I use it to create a water diversion system in between my joists for keeping a waterproof bladder on a deck to channel all the rain away so you have a dry space underneath. And every time we build one, we usually are overlapping the seams, and then we're taping the tops of the rubber butyl to protect it. Then when we put screws through, it's self-sealing with the rubber butyl tape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape these two pieces together with this piece of tape, and then I'm gonna try to pull them apart so we can see how well, I haven't done this yet, so we can see how well it holds together, okay? So this is something, I will actually be using this tape, this brand, with this type of pond liner in a future build coming up in about a month, because I believe in the rubber butyl. Other tapes I've used don't stick to membranes as well as rubber butyl does. So here we go. So here's my tape. I just put it on. Okay, we got a little bit of separation, but I doubt you're gonna be pulling your pond liner that hard, or your waterproof bladder that hard once the decking's installed. As a matter of fact, you're probably not even gonna be able to see it. So that's why I like using this product the most, is exactly for this reason right here. Because what I have now is I have a watertight seal, and when I put my fasteners through this, it's gonna stick. So I think I can peel this away. This, the bladder has like this really shiny fish-friendly coating on it because they use it for ponds and stuff a lot. So I can peel this away, but it really does stick pretty darn good. And you can see that it pulled away a lot of the color, okay? And I just applied it. So the adhesion strength of a butyl will be better as time goes on up to a certain point. So this would stick better, let's say in 24 hours or 48 hours. Also, if I would have cleaned this before I put this on, it would have stuck better. But I think that's a pretty good stick. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, you learned a little something, click that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future updates, click the bell icon as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.